Let's keep moving here. We'll go down to Pittsburgh, a little bit south of Buffalo. That's 465, 466. Houston coming to town with Deshaun Watson and Ben Roethlisberger. About 6 out of every 10 tickets here coming in on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's one of those line moves of the week that we talk about as well. Opens up at 5.5, coming down to 4, and we also see the total. It's a cheap number here. 45 it opens up at, Kyle. Mostly 45s across the board, depending on where you're shopping at, but some 44.5s at some of the sharper books. It looks easy to me to take the Pittsburgh Steelers because you should be able to run the football against Houston. Their defense doesn't provide all that much of what it even was just a few years ago when you had Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt healthy on that defense and a much better secondary. You're not as explosive on offense with the Houston Texans of what you have been the past couple years. But I do agree with this line movement because when you laugh and joke about the NFL and maybe the NFL doesn't like certain teams or maybe wants to get Bill O'Brien fired, what's the way to get Bill O'Brien fired? Give him the Ravens, give him the Kansas City Chiefs, and give him the Steelers back to back and really put the pressure on them. The question I have is Pittsburgh needs to come out and dominate this football game from a defensive front seven perspective. The one guy that you probably would like to have as a quarterback against a dominant pass rush, Deshaun Watson. Why? Because he can get away, he can make some plays outside of the pocket, but still banged up Duke Johnson in the backfield. Brandon Cook's still banged up at wide receiver. We already seen Will Fuller having hamstring struggles as it is. If you go in there with a half of an offense of what you thought you would have, the Pittsburgh Steelers should be able to shut you down. Sharp action, I guess you could say, on the Texans. We pick every game. Doesn't mean we bet every game. I still would lean towards Houston in this spot because I feel that they've played such good opponents to start the season. You might be a little bit battle-tested in a must-win situation. I have a slight lean towards the Texans in this spot. Which way you look at it? Is it Steelers for you at home, or maybe this is the Texans' last stand after what they had the past 2 weeks?
I think the Texans' last stand was when they traded DeAndre Hopkins in the offseason. I have absolutely no faith in this team. And I love Ben Roethlisberger at home. He is just so good at home. The Steelers, I know there's no fans, and I know they don't have the terrible towels, but they are so good at home. And this defense, it's not getting any easier. You could argue Pittsburgh and Baltimore, very equivalent defenses. And then the Chiefs, who they played week 1, an okay defense. We saw a rookie quarterback kind of light them up last week, and they still struggled to get 20 points against the Houston Texans. What are you going to do now in Pittsburgh? And some interesting stuff in this game. We have the 3 Watt brothers in this game. It's the second time since 1927, according to Elias Sports, right? Where three brothers played in the same game. The last time it happened, I believe, was last year, Pittsburgh and Buffalo with the Edmonds brothers. But I really like Pittsburgh in this spot. Last week, Will Fuller did not have a single catch. And I know he's battling a hamstring. That's what Will Fuller does, is battle hamstring injuries. But you have got to get him the football. He is your most explosive offensive player other than your quarterback, Deshaun Watson. And some good news for you Houston fans or bettors is this week, even though Pittsburgh does have a terrific secondary and Joe Hayden is a terrific corner, he's not a shadow corner. He plays on that defensive left side of the field. 99% of his defensive snaps are played on the defensive left side, while 44% of the time Will Fuller will line up on that right side where he'll see Steven Nelson, who has been probably the more vulnerable secondary player for Pittsburgh. You still have Minkah Fitzpatrick back there. I just don't see how Houston could put up enough points against a Pittsburgh offense that's going to move the ball at home against a porous Houston defense. I like the Steelers a lot in the spot. Ben Roethlisberger at home, especially when you're getting less than a touchdown and the numbers getting shorter and shorter. Let the Sharps have all the Houston they want. I'll take Pittsburgh.
I can't disagree because it's a great front seven. And the one downside of making plays and having a quarterback who can get out of the way of the pass rush is he holds the ball for a long time. That front seven should be able to get home. I'm going to lead in a close, hard-fought battle. I do think Pittsburgh is the edge here. If you ask me right now who's going to win the game, I believe Pittsburgh should win the game. But there is a good reason why it opens up at 5.5, and it's sitting at 4 currently now. We'll see if that line moves throughout the week here.